I think my whole life I've been trying to figure out how can I put the best version of myself before God. How can I do better? How can I do more? How can I pray more? How can I love Him more? And I've always felt very inadequate spiritually. My name is Joshua Burdette. I am the assistant pastor of discipleship and counseling at Ethos Presbyterian Church. I have a wife named Katie, and I have a newborn son named Jasper. I grew up in a really small town in South Carolina, a place where there are more cows than people. Everybody went to church. It was just part of the culture. I can remember from very early on feeling like I had been given a blank sheet of paper, and my job was to keep that sheet of paper as clean as possible. The image of God that I had was someone that was very hard to please, but also the view I had of myself was that sin was something that was over there in other people. It wasn't in my family. The thing that changed that more than anything else, it kind of came in stages, but my parents got divorced when I was about 15. And that was the first time that it was like, sin is in my family. We are broken. It's not an us and them kind of thing. I was graduating high school, about to go to college, and my cousin had just become a believer. And I didn't have an older brother, so he was someone like my whole life I'd looked up to. And I was hanging out with him, and he said that you were saved by grace. You weren't saved by works. You were saved by the gift of God. I'd never heard that concept before. It turned my entire worldview upside down because I felt like I was saved because I was doing the right things, because I chose the right path. And then when he told me I was saved by God's grace, then it took all the control out of my hands. I went to college and I joined every Bible study and every service project and Christian ministry, and tutored kids after school and discipled youth on the weekends. So at the end of my freshman year, I was exhausted. I was emotionally, physically, spiritually, was tired. And so I quit everything. I quit every campus ministry. I quit every Bible study, and pretty much quit church at that point. I felt like I was just on the hamster wheel, and I was just going and going and going, but I never actually knew why I was doing it. And the whole time, that idea, that my cousin had told me, this idea of grace, had been in my mind, and I started to think, what if it's true? What if it's not about me? What if it's about God reaching out and rescuing me? And so I went back to campus ministry, and I'd heard of this group called Reformed University Fellowship, and I knew that they believed in this idea of grace. It was like a breath of fresh air. It was what I was really looking for. It was this idea that Christ died for sinners, that Christ died for the worst version of me, not the version of Joshua that I will someday be, that I have to work to get to, but that He reached out and that He died for the sinful version of me. And that changed everything. That gave me freedom. That gave me the sense that anything that I did, I could do for His glory, and that it wasn't about me performing and trying to do enough good works to earn His favor. I'm Joshua Burdette, and that's how God reached me.